Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, a show dedicated to helping you expand your capacity, take your life in every area to an entirely new level, and creating a day and a life by design. Here's your host, Dan Hafner. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, your host, Dan Hafner here. Today's topic is this. There's a reason for everything. As always, I appreciate you all joining. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. All right, my friends. So, been a couple days, almost a week now since I've done an episode here. But we're in the midst of a death in the family on my wife's side. So I've been dealing with that and doing all those different things and traveling out of town for that. So it wasn't, it was an older, a grandparent, so it wasn't anything like super sad or sudden. She was old and things just happened. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about this concept that I took away from this entire experience. And it's crazy how I've been around, quite a few funerals in my time, and just kind of the different feelings and revelations that you get, from whether you talk to people or run into, family members or friends that you haven't seen in years. Unfortunately, that's, how most families just see each other now anymore, is weddings and funerals. And with COVID, that kind of threw a wrench in all those as well. But it's been there's always these emotions and these, everyone deals with things in their own way, And as I took in, all of these proceedings and all the family things that were going on and just how it all went down, I really started to kind of get this feeling that everything was happening for a reason, especially when we talked with some of the family, friends, and the people, because they weren't terribly close, so it was kind of an estranged relationship at some level, and they just weren't very, very close. You know what I mean? So it was they kind of had separate lives from each other, and once we got to talking to the people that were around her the most, it was, really the truth started to come out about how genuine of a person and how much people, how much they really loved each other and how much she loved her kids and her grandkids and all this stuff. So it was really things that, my relatives on my wife's side really needed to hear, and it was really beautiful because as I started to see how things were coming full circle from their childhood up into their adulthood and into today, there was just this revelation that just kind of struck me time and time again, was like, there is just a time and a place for everything. And I believe, I'm not sure what chapter of the Bible or anything that's in, but I believe that's a verse in the Bible. Like, there's a time and a purpose to everything under heaven, right? And not to make this spiritual or Christian or anything in any way, but I truly believe that. Like, I truly believe, especially after this experience this week, like, there was actually a poem that somebody had read at the funeral service, which she had wrote before she had passed away. And it was this really powerful poem about, I think it was called "Miss Me, But Let Me Go." Right? Miss me, but let me go. And the fact that she had the presence of mind to actually write this kind of shows that she knew it was time, right? For whatever reason, it seemed like it was more of an unexpected thing, but for whatever reason, she seemed to know, or else she never would have wrote that. You know what I mean? And it was a very, very beautiful poem, and it just talked about that. Like, I want you to miss me, but I want you to let me go. I want you to know that I'm in a better place. I'm moved on. I've, things are taken care of. All is forgiven. Those types of things, right? And it was super, super powerful and super moving for me to just even be a part of that, because it really kind of brought a lot of past pain and past transgressions and a lot of things that I had learned about to rest, right? It just brought those things to rest, and it brought them to rest in a peaceful way, not a conflicting way, you know. So yeah, it was just very. I'm really even just struggling to find the words for it. Like, there was just I did a couple stacks on it while I was there, and I really started to think, more about how things happen in sequence inside of my life and inside of the lives of other people that I know that have structured our lives the way that they are. And I started really digging deep into why have certain things happened to me in the order that they've happened to me. At the time, I didn't know that I needed to go through those things, or why, God was punishing me, or why I screwed this up, or all these different stories I had about why I was facing whatever problem or challenge or bullshit or whatever it was in my life at that time. And now looking back on it, I'm like, wow, now I see why I went through that, or that happened to me, whatever the case might be in any area of my life, because there was a time and a place to it, right? There was a very logical sequence to that, because if that thing had happened to me now, it would have made complete and zero sense, because it was completely out of order. You know what I mean? And I'm talking vaguely here because I really want you to kind of take this and apply it into your own life as I'm speaking to this, right? And that's kind of why I like to keep these types of conversations vague, so you can, I know you're hearing something out of this that's applying to your life too, right? Like you've in some way found that there was a time and a place to something that you didn't understand in the moment, right? Like you didn't really understand why it was happening, or why now, or why did that have to happen right then, right when I got that new job, or right when I was able to do this, and why did this happen? And that's the big question, right? That's the big question. Why? So when it comes down to figuring things out on a day-to-day basis, and getting back to the overall theme of this podcast and the show about running your day and being, effective and expanding, right? If you can't accept that there are times and places to everything, you're going to go in the wrong direction a lot of times, right? Like if you're in a stage of building a business where you just can't get off the ground and you suck right now, embrace that. Embrace the fact that that's where you are, because now's the time and now's the place to do that. Because once you get to a higher level inside of that, you can't afford that anymore. Right? Or maybe you're trying to lose weight or have a better relationship with somebody. And you're like, why of all times now do we have to struggle with this? But sitting back and taking inventory and appreciation that now is the time for this, and I don't know why, and being okay with that, right? Being okay with you know what, I really don't know why this is happening or why this is the time, but there must be a bigger reason, there must be a bigger purpose. And there's no getting around it. There is a spiritual component to this at whatever level. So, inside of whatever religion you practice or don't practice, there's going to be some level of that involved in this. And how you work that out in your own spiritual and, emotional way is really up to you. But overall, inside of creating a bigger life for yourself, and inside of becoming a different person and actually transforming the way you see reality and the way you produce and the way you show up as a man or a woman, understanding and accepting that there's a time and a place to absolutely everything could be a big breakthrough for you, right? It could be a big breakthrough for you. So I want you to maybe even go back and re-listen to this episode, right? And kind of, if you didn't go through it the first time, as I was talking through that general topic there, how does that apply to your life? Where in your life have you been unwilling to accept that there's just a time and a place to everything. And how can you move forward and accept that? That's my question for you today. All right, my friends. So that is all I have for today's episode. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this one. This was something I had been weighing on me on the drive back, and I just really wanted to come on and share this with you, because I think it sucks when you have to, kind of go through a death experience to be reminded of this. But it's also, I'm thankful that I was reminded of it, because I think it's a very, very powerful concept, right? There's a time and a place to absolutely everything, whether we like it or not. All right, my friends. So that is all I have for you today. Be sure to head over to runyourdaypodcast.com for more information, more cool stuff. You can listen to the show over there. I got a blog going now for it. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, if you have some value to add, or you're some form of expert, or you like the show and want to come on and tell your story to the rest of the Run Your Day audience, you can go to runyourdaypodcast.com and click on guests, submit your name and email, and I'll reach out to you, and maybe you can come on the show if we think you have a good story to tell. All right, everyone, that is all I have for you. Be sure to share the show with whoever you think might find value out of it. We'll always appreciate that, and reviews on iTunes. So go out there, realize that there's a time and a place for everything, and make it a great rest of your day.